Hey YouTube, welcome back to Love for Crypto. So I've taken a bit of time away from obviously creating content. As I've stated in the past, I don't really want to be part of the echo chamber, if you want to call it that. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm really not saying it's a bad thing. I just don't want to be a part of it in that regards. So it's crazy, really, isn't it? The position we're in today now. A lot of talk about Fidelity Digital Assets, legitimising the space, bringing in institutions to create the institutional ecosystem together, just as they did in the year 2000. You know, we see the same things all the time, like they did in the dot-com era. If you had your Dell stocks, your Microsoft stocks, your Apple stocks, you was called an idiot for holding them stocks in 1995. I'm talking about here in time frame. And I know during that year you heard the same narrative, the same bullshit that we're hearing today. Bitcoin's a fraud. Anybody holding crypto assets are idiotic. It's a bubble. It's not going to last. And it's the exact same echo that we heard back in the mid-90s. Before we had the dot-com boom, and we're way before that in the crypto sort of correlation, if you want to call it that. So, you know, where we are today, we are sort of back into the 95 of the dot-com era, when it was being called a fraud, when the internet was only used for pornography, for paedophiles, all that type of narrative that you got heard, got downplayed, and it was the average man that then sold off their stocks, the Dells, the Microsoft, the Apples. I mean, not so much Microsoft because it was a little bit earlier than that, but it was the same sort of boom, if you want to call it the boom cycle. During 1995, the mainstream media have just played the exact same tricks as they did then, what they are doing now in regards to crypto. It's to get the average person out of the stock, drive down the spot price, buy up the spot price, and then let the market go. And we all know what happened. I mean, from 1995 to 1996, there was a thorough documentary on this, correlating it to cryptos with two gentlemen whose names I forgot, because as you know, there's that much stuff that you've got to take in from this space. It's just impossible to keep up with everything. Nevertheless, names, I mean, I'm poor with names regardless, but moving forward, what I'm trying to say is, why is everybody surprised of what they're hearing today is beyond me. It is really beyond me. It's quite frustrating to actually watch, to see everybody getting hyped up about Fidelity Digital Assets coming into the space to legitimise the space, and now we're all waving our hands in the air because we've heard somebody from Fidelity talking about pension funds, you know, being able to be legitimised so it can be invested into this space. We've got no custody at the moment. We've got no institutional. I mean, we've got Coinbase custody, epic fail. It's lost 80% of its trading volume since the start of this year. Customers are demanding XRP to be listed. They're not listing it. Coinbase, in my eyes, are just a business model that had the utmost potential to strive in this space, and have let themselves down due to their own personal agenda of holdings, i.e. Bitcoin. You know, they probably didn't have no XRP. Therefore, they're not going to promote it on their site. But moving back to it again, we're talking about Fidelity Digital Assets. And I'm not surprised in the slightest. We've been hearing all this type of stuff. Yet, fair enough, right, backed another one, 14-month undercover fucking project. Now it's going to be launched in November. And people are surprised when they're hearing Fidelity are launching digital assets. Of course, they are going to be launching digital assets on their platform. I mean, it makes me laugh because I speak very passionate about XRP and this space in general as being the birth of a new asset class. But you know, when you started to dream for a little minute, you get pegged down by, you know, by the police, the hype police, I like to call them. And you know, we know who these people are. We know exactly who they are, and they're trying to downplay this revolution as if it's nothing. I mean, I'm hearing about people. We all know about 589. We all know about it. You know, bearable guy with his riddles and all that shit. Right, fair enough, but fucking hell, people are, you know, bought into this idea. And I'm hearing about people saying anyone who says 589 are being blocked because people are looking at committing suicide over it. I mean, what the fuck are people going on about? Listen, if you watch my videos and you enjoy watching my videos and the stuff that I'm trying to educate you on from my personal beliefs and vision of where I see this going, and if you just go and invest openly off what I'm saying to you, then I am going to call you idiotic, because that's what you are. You should never invest just off the opinion of one person who's talking on YouTube, who's sat in his van working like the everyday normal person, and just basically going to invest everything off against it. You always need to do your due diligence when making an investment. And to make an investment anyway, I'm presuming you've got to be of age, 18, whatever your legal gambling age restriction is in your native country. It's 18 over here and you can gamble. Listen, by the time you're 18, you're a fully grown fucking adult and you should be able to think for yourself in that regards. And if you are just making uneducated investments because you've not done your own due diligence and you're going off the opinion of people, then listen, you basically, you're asking to be fucking burnt. Now, I'm not saying to you what I'm talking about it's fucking real as it gets. This revolution, in my eyes, will shit all over the .com era. It really will do, because we're speaking about value, we're speaking about money, we're speaking about finance. And all three of those together is basically what makes the world go round. I mean, we're speaking about the financial markets, in utter despair at the moment. In regards of the US petrodollar status, I don't need to keep going on about this. You can see it all happening around you. You can see the stock markets are starting to shake with uncertainty, if you want to call it that, with everything that's happening with the trade wars, with stuff that's happening now in Saudi Arabia, with Iran, with China, with North Korea. We speak about, obviously, the emerging markets. Listen, the financial market, the financial sort of framework, the monetary system is on its arse. It really is. And that's not me lying. That is a fact that you're actually starting to hear in mainstream media now. Bear in mind that we were talking about this 6 months ago on this channel when everyone was calling me crazy for it. And we can starting to see now the fractures of the bubble. It is about to burst. And I've always said Q4 2019, by that time, the Fed base rates will have increased. It will be unsustainable. From now until then, the 40-month journey. That's what I've always been saying, and I will continue to keep saying it for various different reasons. You're going to have, like you say, Fidelity Digital Assets, which everybody's absolutely fucking hyping about, retweeting the fucking life out of it. I mean, don't get me wrong, I've done a retweet. But when I go on my fucking YouTube now, and I'm just seeing Fidelity, I'm like, Jesus Christ, did nobody see this coming apart from me? I mean, do we actually need to have confirmation these days in order to be able to speculate in an investment? It's fucking ludicrous. Listen, the main purpose of people investing is speculating that they think that their investment is going to grow in the future for whatever reason that may be. It's called speculation. Yet if you speculate in the XRP space now these days, oh, fucking hell, you better be careful, because the hype police will be on your fucking back. Oh, you can't speculate no more in XRP. It's got to be confirmed facts in order for you to speak about it. Go and fuck yourself. Listen, are you a visionary person, or are you a sheep that needs confirmation? Because listen, I'll give you one bit of advice right now. You only know a good investment until it's too late. And that by meaning so, and what I'm saying when I do say that, is by the time that's been confirmed, it's too fucking late. It's as simple as that. Listen, people have not been investing thousands of pounds or thousands of dollars into digital assets just for the good sake of mankind. I can promise you that. And anybody who wants to say that is lying. Unless they're already financial, if they've got financial freedom, they've got money that they don't know what to do with it and it doesn't matter to them, and they actually are genuinely in it just for the technology, for the likes of financial inclusion, fair enough. But I can guarantee that 97% of the people are in this for profits. Because I am. I'm not going to lie. I'm in this to try and better my life moving forward by trying to call on the birth of a new asset class that is going to wipe the floor with anything that we've ever seen. I mean, we're talking over a fair few centuries since the launch of a new asset class, which would have been stocks, etc. And this is the new age that we are now in. We are in the new age. We're going into a digital revolution. It is a fact. It is a fact that hard cash is dying. Digital money is becoming more and more common. And you can see with the SWIFT system itself, it's hackable. Billions have been lost due to hacks. With this technology, I think it's fair to say that an attack that could have happened on Swift that would have been successful would never have stood a chance on XRPL because of the decentralized nature and the way that the information is immutable on the blockchain. So obviously that's in regards to that. We've got, again, Fidelity Digital Assets. Yeah, obviously, when I heard it, I was like, oh, there we go, another bit of confirmation that I was exactly right in everything that I've been saying since fucking day one. But, you know, the populace, the sheep, I like to call them, you know, they buy into mainstream media. You know, if someone's calling it a fraud for the likes of, you know, Warren Buffett, Rat Poison Squared, yeah, listen, from that remark alone, Bitcoin stripped 20% of its value. Now, listen, this is a tactical game being played by the 1%ers. Listen, we are going to see a paradigm shift, just as we saw before. If you look into the stock markets now, today, who are the elite corporates up there? You've got your Google, your Amazons, your Facebooks, you know, your Netflix, all stuff like that. Now, just tell me now, before the, you know, the year 2000, what were your top stocks before that? Because none of them existed, but now that's where we see the most of the world's wealth in them. Believe me, this paradigm shift is going to be real. And when we speak about digital assets, this is the next paradigm shift. When we speak about Ripple and what they're doing on the XRPL and how they're using it to leverage it as a financial tool for liquidity, you know, that's just the beginning of what is about to happen. You know, we're talking about all sorts of different technologies that will evolve from this specific type of technology when I speak blockchain. But, you know, all you keep hearing is about the fourth industrial revolution with blockchain, AI, robotics. You hear the rumours of, in 10 to 20 years, 60% of payments will be automated, robotic AI payments. I mean, that's the future that we're going in. I don't know if it's just me who can see 5 years into the future. But, you know, when I speculate in the stuff that I talk about, you know, it's frowned upon the elite, the XRP community elite. Do you know what I mean? Unless it's confirmed status, you're not allowed to talk about it. It's a load of fucking bollocks, if you ask me. Do you know what I mean? You have literally got this niche group now that you know, are trying to police this space. Well, they can go and fucking suck my dick, because I'm going to speak what I think, regardless of people start throwing out, oh, people might commit suicide. Well, if they're going to commit suicide, listen, it's their own fucking fault for not doing fucking their own due diligence whilst investing. If they've just gone in with their eyes fucking closed, blinkers on, bam, tunnel vision, and just invested because someone said it can get to 589 on YouTube, as horrible as it may sound, listen, it's idiotic. It's idiotic. You need to do your research, and I'm sure most of you have done your research here, and I'm sure most of you are willing to lose every single loss of capital that you've invested on the chance of this becoming what we all know it will become, which we do know. It's a revolution in itself. Listen, you don't work with the Federal Reserve, the Bank of England, the IMF if you've got a fucking technology that is fucking worthless. Believe me. Although today it may seem worthless today because of the value and the spot price. And listen, like I said, sure, and like I've always said, this is just one big game of accumulation for the 1%ers. Listen, they've drove the spot price down of this market using the likes of Bitcoin, with it being the main peg in cryptocurrency for other digital assets. And by doing so, you know, let's go to the CBOE futures, let's short the life out of this, let's drive the spot price down in the actual crypto space market. They've won on the futures, and they've won because they can accumulate on the cheap. And honest to God, this is not me being naive. This is a goddamn fact, and this is history repeating itself once again, just like we saw in '95 when the internet, its only use case was used for fucking child pornography. Now listen, just go and do a bit of education in that. There is a very well documented documentary talking about this year and what we've seen in regards to cryptocurrencies being manipulated down using mainstream media as the weapon of which it has always been used for the 1%ers. So obviously, you know, everyone's going, oh, fucking hell, Fidelity. Oh, Fidelity are going to do crypto assets. No fucking shit. I mean, I can't believe the naivety of people. And I'm just overwhelmed with how much good news that they think they said. Don't get me wrong, it is great news. Yeah, it will legitimise the space. Yeah, it will open it up so we can do pension funds and mutual funds can be invested into this legitimately with a framework around it that will enable for investments to thrive. You know, we talk about institutional money coming into this space. It's been here all fucking year, and they've been tapping with this market so they can buy up on the cheap. So when they open their own crypto trading desk, i.e. JP Morgan, you know, i.e. Morgan, all these other groups, you know, we've got the NASDAQ, we've got BATSTAT doing it with ICE, Intercontinental Exchange, now we've got Fidelity doing it. And people are still surprised that they're in it. Of course, listen, my vision of this is crystal clear. And it's just a shame that we can't go into the future 5 years, because I'm already visualizing the future of 5 years' time. Hence the reason why I put so much faith and belief into this technology and into this, what I like to call a revolution. And it is fucking real. I mean, if we, listen, another thing, Mutual Loop confirmed that they're going to be, you know, using XVIA, which potentially could mean all transactions settled with XRP. Again, people are going round frothing from the mouth, and it was fucking confirmed in 2015. Listen, whether you want to say it was confirmed with XRP or not, you can say what you want. Listen, Ripple haven't just gone out to try and fucking boost X-Current around the world, this new messaging system. It's far from the truth. We're talking about a new form of liquidity that has arisen from this revolution that can be used to service emerging markets where it would be expensive to pre-fund a Nostro account over there. Plus, you've also got all your emerging market currency risks that are clearly, you know, you talk about Iran, Argentina, Venezuela. Anybody trading in and out of these countries who would enable money to move into there would have held a Nostro over there, will have seen the capital depleted, and it is off-putting as an institution to be able to deal with these types of markets. Now, obviously, I don't need to talk about the revolution, and I refuse to speak about it, but we all know what XRP is primed up to be, a liquidity asset. And I can tell you now, 5 years in the future, Nostro Vostro will be a thing of the past. I can guarantee it will be a thing of the past. Because as an institution, why would you have idle capital sat around the world at risk, bear in mind, at risk? And I'm not saying, you know, you could potentially see marginal profits in some countries with your Nostros, but the vast majority, we're talking about risk management here, and it is a fact. It is a fact that the risk, and even as we go further forward into the future, the risk becoming more and more apparent to even the everyday person to understand, you know, the importance of this Nostro money being released, which it will do, and it will be a domino effect. And I'm not saying it's going to happen in fucking 3 months. You know, I'm not part of this 589 crew, but I am part of defending the fact that the possibility of it happening is very real. This year, maybe not. The potential chance of it happening, 2% at the most, I would say. And that's a fact. But it's not to say that it's impossible. People keep speaking about all the money in the world. They need to go and jump out of the top story of a building, maybe restart their life, because you're clearly not understanding, you know, the actual in-depth knowledge of the market cap. Is just an absolute fucking... It of course, it exists in stocks, but we're talking about an asset that's got utility, and it does not matter to its slightest degree of what the market cap is. What we need to realise is market cap is the last price of giving the coin. Do you know what I mean? So, you know, let's just say XRP is $100. You know, you sell fucking 2 billion of them. It's not going to be $100. So you don't need all the money in the world anyway. And I'm not going over this market cap fucking conspiracy shit either, because I've done it too many times now. It's in previous videos if you would like to understand the in-depth reason of why it is a ludicrous, imaginary roof or ceiling to where an investment can go. Maybe not in a Facebook stock, but we're talking about a utility asset here, which is a whole another ball game. And we'll see this into the future. You know, all this fucking misconception will be crushed. And it will become more apparent moving forwards into the future. So obviously we've got Bill Gates, Melinda Gates, they're confirming that they're using Ripple and XVIA, which we know now can settle for using XRP. Listen, the end game of Ripple is, their end game is XRP. Listen, yeah, they are a technology company, a software provider for banks. They've got X-Current set up in banks, but we're seeing the same thing happening with Swift GPI, and we'll see it with various other money suppliers around the world. They'll be creating their own messaging layer that will speed up the efficiency of cross-border payments, and it really will do. But that's only the beginning. That is only the start. Once all these service providers, you know, your Temenoses, your SATs, once they directly integrate with Ripple Tech, with Ripple Net, and then they have got access to settle their payments with XRP, then that is the end game plan for Ripple. That is it's their end game plan. Obviously, Ripple, yeah, fair enough, they're probably making a lot of money with the X-Current technology because they're saving X amount of value for the customers. Of course, that is a profitable business plan, and of course, it's got the attention and it's given Ripple the trustworthiness of the bankers to actually look at Ripple and think, I wonder what we can actually use this digital asset for now, you know, for liquidity reasons. You know, if I want to send money into Peru and I know that that South American country, its currency is about to fucking devalue beyond belief, then I'm not really going to want to pre-fund a nostro in that country, am I? I am really not going to. So what other alternative have I ever got around it? Now again, we have not got the regulatory framework set up in position yet. That's another fact. That's something that we do need. We've not got the institutional custody. That's a fact. That's something that we need. And it's just making me laugh how people are drooling from their mouths when they've seen the likes of Fidelity saying they're going to launch into digital assets. You know, we're talking about a business that's got $7 trillion under management, and then people are like shocked. They're fucking shocked. It's beyond belief to me why they're shocked. Listen, in our little group chat that we always speak about the progression, you know, news of the day, that type of stuff. And it's just an echo chamber. It's just an echo chamber. Someone will say something, the next person will say something. The next thing you know, you look everywhere, it's fucking plastered around the screens as if it's fucking brand new news. And yeah, I'm not trying to say I've got evidence to suggest that it was in the pipework before it, but fuck me, use your brain, ladies and gentlemen, and just ask yourself, is this really a shock to you that we're seeing the type of institutional movement coming into this space? Because for me, it is nothing but a mere confirmation of everything that I thought I knew was going to happen anyway, and that's the fact. That is a genuine fact. That's not me trying to big up my position, saying, oh, we're seeing this coming a mile off, which I did, as you all know. You know, I stopped making all these videos about the news, about reading out articles, about, oh, Bill Gates and Melinda Gates confirmed they're going to be using XV for payments, oh, Fidelity, and now getting into digital assets, because it bores the fucking life out of me. It's bored the life out of me when I realised at the start of this year just who Ripple was dealing with and just what level of actual institutional players they actually deal with. I mean, when it gets to the Federal Reserve, we don't actually get much higher than that in regards to a monetary system. And we all know the Federal Reserves are implementing new software, new technology in order for their real-time growth settlement process to be a much smoother, transparent and safer system. It's all set up to be done by 2020. And yeah, Ripple is on the shortlist, and it's only Ripple offering one key factor of technology that nobody else can provide, and it is XRP. It is the digital asset that was born to provide liquidity for the world, rather than pre-funding 20 to 30 to 40 nostro accounts. Pre-fund XRP that can do the job and the duty to service all these regions that you need to send money into. That's the end game. Is it going to happen overnight? Of course it's not going to happen overnight. But ask yourself, why are people like Temenos? Why are people like SAP? There was another one that just come out recently, which I did see in Rachel Lee's Twitter account, and it's the one that services the World Bank are integrating with Ripple Tech. Of course they are, ladies and gentlemen. I've been saying it for fucking months now. But, you know, don't speak about this unless you've got confirmation, unless you've got a solid fucking source that's going to tell you that it is an actual fact, then don't speak about it. You're not allowed to speak about it because you're part of the hype crew, aren't you then? The fucking hype crew. Listen, what fucking revolution are we talking about here? Are we talking about the double fucking Twix chocolate bar? Or are we talking about a fucking technological revolution in the financial markets? The biggest fucking market in the world. Now, I don't know what people are observing here. I don't know what people are expecting. Yeah, of course we're starting off a remittance. It's a small, low-key cat part of the finance fucking product of what XRP is trying to deliver on. But make no mistake about this, in 3 to 4 to 5 years' time, we will be seeing treasury funds being passed through XRP. Again, I've not got the proof to actually prove it to you, but I can guarantee you it will happen. And I don't give a fuck about all this. I'm not a financial advisor. If you're listening to this video and the way that I'm speaking, do I sound like a professional financial advisor? No, I don't. I just sound like your average, everyday fucking guy who's clearly got onto something here that is being manipulated by institutional players for a specific reason, because this is going to be the next biggest thing to fucking face the earth. It really, really is. And you talk about paradigm shifts. We've already seen one go into the tech stocks of the likes of Amazon and Apple and Facebook, and that was a paradigm shift on its own. We're now 20 years into the future with a new revolutionary technology, and believe me, whether Ripple go public, whether they do not, it doesn't fucking matter, because we're talking about digital assets, not companies. We're talking about assets themselves that are decentralized, that are biased to no entity, that can serve the economy in an unbiased way, where government cannot manipulate what happens on there. It is immutable information where it cannot be tampered with. Fuck me. I mean, I'm an engineer. I'm a transport refrigeration engineer. If I can understand this, then surely the rest of you people can understand this. You've got to be able to understand it. And if not, I will be very disappointed by this point, especially if you've been watching this channel since when I've started. Now listen, if you want to go and listen to somebody who doesn't swear, or is your family kind of guy, I'm not going to start saying people, but you know who to go and follow to them. Go and listen to their facts that they've got by proven sources. You know, listen, you never know a good investment until it's too late. Now, I know everybody who's dealing with XRP by this time knows exactly what they sat on. They know exactly where this is going into the future, and they know it's going to take time and patience in order to build this ecosystem, build a regulatory framework around this asset class that will legitimise the space, that will enable pension funds, mutual funds, and various other types of sort of venture capitalists to invest into this space with the belief and the confidence of custody and insurance behind what their asset is to hold. They can't do that at the moment. What are they going to do? Are you going to see a pension fund go and buy a fucking ledger, from a nano ledger S from the fucking ledger site, to go and put fucking 25 billions worth of funds on a fucking ledger? No, you're not going to see it, are you? It's idiotic behaviour, and it's stupid to think that you'd see that happening. Listen, the whales of this market at the moment are micro pieces of sand compared to what is about to come into this market. It's a fucking 220 billion asset class. 220 billion, that when it got to 880 billion, it had the reins wrapped round its neck and dragged back down to reality. Not because it had no more growth potential in it, nothing to do with that sort. It's because the 1%ers, the Silicon Valley, the Wall Streeters, just like they seen the internet revolution slip by the fucking fingers, they pulled it right back down, built their own positions, and then allowed it to flourish. It's all you're going to see. I guarantee that's what you will see. It is, again, I can't prove it, but I fucking guarantee it. If history will repeat itself once again, which has been known to do various different times, then that is the factuality of what will happen. If you believe that XRP's true value is around 44 cents, then you've got a lot of learning to do. The reason why it's down where it is because, you know, you've probably got a cap of retail money that is in this market now. A lot of it has fled the market due to the FUD that we did hear from the likes of, you know, even Bill Gates himself come out calling Bitcoin a fraud, saying he would short Bitcoin if he had the means and the sort of products in order to be able to do it, which the Winklevoss twins kindly pointed out, saying that they could short it in Gemini. And again, it had a knock-on effect. A load of people fled the market. Bear in mind, this is the same Bill Gates that was calling Bitcoin a revolution in 2015, and the same Bill Gates that is fucking deep in bed with Ripple to implement Muja Loop, because he's the person who has come out and said that poverty will not exist in 2030. Now, do you know why Bill Gates has claimed that poverty will not exist in 2030? Correct, you guessed it right. It's because of this technology. This exact very same technology that us, the people, the retail investors, have been able to invest into first before the big boys. And they've done a big job, and a very, very good job, of creating a lot of uncertainty and doubt in this area. We had MasterCard banning crypto purchases, Visa doing the exact same thing. We had Mark Carney from the Bank of England saying that Bitcoin doesn't pose a monetary threat whatsoever to the financial system. To then go and hear Christine Lagarde. To then go and hear Christine, shit, I forgot her name again, fuck sake, Lagrange, whatever it is, Lagarde, Christine Lagarde, has now come out saying that it does pose a threat to the monetary system. Of course it does. Of course it does now, because the narrative's changing now, isn't it? Of course it's changing, because the likes of Fidelity and the likes of BAT and the likes of the New York Stock Exchange and the NASDAQ are now all bringing out their custody trading desk solutions to the market. Oh no, it's not a scam no more. No, it's not for fucking it's you know, it's for drug dealers. You know, we talk about Silk Road, you know, that's what, listen, it's fucking pathetic. It's even more pathetic that people have believed it. It really is. They drove the market price down for the likes of me and yourself to buy even fucking more. That's the mentality you need in this space. It really is. Now, I'm not going to sit there saying, oh, I'm not a financial advisor, you know, blah, blah, blah. Fuck that shit. I don't give a fuck. I am not a financial advisor, but I don't give a fuck. I'll speak my mind. Listen, if I'm openly invested into this, I've spoke about it. I've made fucking numerous videos about it. I put a lot of heart, a lot of effort into it. And I've got a lot of passion about it because I can genuinely see 5 years into the future. I can see where this space is going. And I've gone back and I've done the research and I've researched the fact that the same mainstream media narrative has been used in the digital asset space the exact same way that it was used in the internet boom. The exact same way. It's unbelievable. I mean, it's not unbelievable, it's the 1%ers remaining as the 1%ers, because believe me you, we have got a fucking whale of a paradigm shift on the horizon. We've got all the issues with the emerging market currencies, we've got issues with the stock markets. I mean, you can look at the US, we were speaking about it last week, we started to see true factors last week, and yeah, of course it's bought back. Of course it was designed, you know, Donald Trump has even come out himself saying that now they're in trade talks with China, which was a lie, and the actual, you know, we're talking institutional money at Wall Street actually bought into this as well. Do you know what I mean? It was 300 points down, bam, this comes out, and then goes into the positive. Mainstream media is the ultimate tool for the elites, for the 1%ers. And the same way that the tech stock boom happened, you know, we had the boom in 2000, we're in 2018 now, and I'd like to say, I think it's blatantly obvious